say why.
Yeah, Ben.
Okay,
You're too handsome for jail,
we
Ben.
might have
Too handsome for
started.
jail.
I never know. Hey, look, we're live
Too
with an
handsome for jail,
excellent
Ben.
connection. So something's gonna blow up. Ben's not even paying attention, man. He's doing his
I'm
schoolwork.
I'm getting ready to copy and paste the link. I won't if you don't want me to.
No,
We're live.
well, so what does that mean? We're gonna have like 4 people watching?
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome everyone to Goddammit Zach. I'm Skeeter Green. This is Zach Glazer. Zach, take it from here.
God damn it. We have actually someone young, handsome, and smart with us, which is unusual.
Which is neither one of us.
I thought you guys were always on the show.
Oh, we
Well,
all know that.
as of last week, Zach wasn't even on the show.
I heard, yeah,
Right.
you abandoned the ship.
I did.
Fucking
But you
mute
know
me.
what? You went on without me.
It was all right. So, welcome back to Goddammit Zach, Mr. Ben Barsh.
Yeah.
Hello.
How are you doing?
It's great to be here.
though?
Fantastic.
Is
It's
it
great. It's the best.
I mean,
It couldn't be better.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's okay. Zach is only here because we have him held hostage in an office. Hello, Kurt.
Is that Kurt Gould?
Oh God, it is.
Hey, you don't disparage one of our most loyal fans just because he comes on occasionally and watches.
Yeah, well, I disparage him because
I
I
would
spent
never.
thousands of dollars on stupid D&D branded merchandise he approved.
We could potentially be seeing Kurt in person
Ooh, that's right. Soon.
Yeah.
in less than a month.
Ooh.
My
I can-
joy
I
is
can complain to him in person about
Yeah.
my D&D socks and my D&D handbag, my D&D backpack, my D&D water bottle, my
your
D&D.
D&D handbag.
Yes.
Oh, we really glazed over that.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're going to discuss that. Zach, do you actually have a D&D handbag?
Tote bag, actually. Like
Nope.
NPR.
Nope, you called it a handbag. Let's see.
If I had one, I would
let's-
probably display it. If I had one, I would probably display it. I do
Let
not.
us see your game purse.
I would prefer a D&D fanny pack.
Ooh, I have something like
If
that.
you get a Ben, if you get a black turtleneck with a big
Mhm.
gold chain and a fanny pack,
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
would
I already know where you're going with
please
this.
make that pose? 'Cause
I would love to. I'd be honored.
That would sell singles of units. Okay, no, let's get into this. Ben,
Why do we
Yeah.
have him on the show
what's
besides his good
happening,
hair?
dude?
What's happening?
I don't know. I think mainly the reason was because I'm a great person and fun personality. But if we're talking besides that, we have a Pacesetter Games Kickstarter going.
Well,
And listen-
the legit wonderful thing is, I was thinking about it. I have been going to the North Texas RPG Con for, I think, the last 10 years. I think I've been there 10 years. Matt's been there since day one, so that's like 13 years.
He's old though.
How old were you 10 years ago, Ben?
12.
Right. So
Well, almost 13. My birthday's in 12 days, if
So-
that helps you at all.
So like 13-year-old Ben Barsh, you were going to the con then, weren't you?
No, I didn't go to the con until I was 14. I was four.
Pardon
I
us.
think I
for
was
being
just
out-
turning 15. I don't think I couldn't drive yet. I don't think because
Your dad wouldn't let you ride in the car. You had to drive yourself. Is that what you're telling me?
what the hell kind of even question? What do you mean? Yeah, I was
just
driving
said-
it.
Yeah,
What?
you just said you had to be 15 because you couldn't drive, and I was like, God damn, your dad wouldn't even let you be in the car when he came to the convention? That's
doesn't get-
awful. Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, no. Now you're back on.
Am I good?
Maybe I went deaf for a minute.
Oh, okay.
more
Either
likely.
way. No, I think my first con was I was 15 or 16. It was around then. That was my first North Texas, and then Gen Con was technically my first con, but I don't know if you even count that as a convention anymore. It's more of a mass gathering
It's
of
just a
nerds.
zoo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Super
zoo.
spreader
So, yeah.
this kid, we would see him at the pace setter booth, and it's like, oh, who's that?
Working
kid
harder than
running
anybody
the
else,
booth?
I might add.
Yeah, actually putting some effort in. But
That's what impressed me. Seriously, I looked around at everybody that I knew at a booth, and they're all like this.
Yeah,
but not him.
everybody's
Hanging
half
stuff
asleep
up,
and dead.
organizing, selling things all at once. I was like, there's a kid's going to go somewhere.
Hey, man, books don't sell themselves. Well,
True.
I mean, if you're a massive company, they do. But for all smaller guys, we got to get in the ring.
Well, they're selling themselves right now in Kickstarter, from what I can tell.
Look at this.
Yeah,
guy.
it's grown.
That's a real number, Ben. That's no
Yeah.
small potatoes, man. That's
Yeah.
real numbers.
Yeah,
652 backers, those are real numbers. I mean, so good for you.
I think the first Kickstarter I ever did was 3 years ago, about this time, which is cool because I look back at it and I think I might have like romanticized how well it did. It did well. Like, don't get me wrong. It funded and like went over funding and we got stretch goals down and stuff. So it was a massive success by those standards. But looking back at that, it was 165 backers.
So
and like 6,000 raised, and then now we're at go ahead. Yeah.
So Rise of the Nefarious.
Like the page. Oh my god, I get so meticulously annoying about like Kickstarter pages and like having it perfectly constructed. Looking at it now, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? But obviously, I've learned more since then. But
well, yeah, you have.
Yeah, there it is, Rise of the Nefarious.
Because honestly, you can see it in the numbers, and what's awesome about it is that you can see it in your books too. And your books, I mean, I thought Rise of Ferris was good. I thought it was really great, good, like the first effort. It really was.
And Reaping at River's End.
But I mean, you can even just see in the thumbnails of like over time how much I learned.
Path Advantage, I got the book, and I mean, the quality of like just the way you laid it out, the way the cover looks, and how it's just oriented. I mean, you really are making nice stuff, man. You should be real proud of that.
Yeah, I think our stories have always been amazing and intact. It's just getting it to match the aesthetic for people, which is the harder part. You know, that takes a lot of effort and obviously money. So, having
money now, I mean, you've earned your way up to where you're making the money, so you can do so. So
yeah,
now you have no excuses when there's mistakes. Sucks, huh?
No, I do have excuses. It's the team under me. Let's look
at this. I mean, here's the Ben Barsh RPG designer page.
What the hell is that?
Oh, dude, I did some research, man.
Yeah.
What is the RPG designer page? What is this?
You have a whole entries in the database there for RPG designers, dude.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is.
So yeah, it's not necessarily up to date because some of these pages are run by people who do this in their spare time. So
yeah.
But yeah, look at you, man. You're killing it. You got
it feels good.
Stuff out there.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how it's grown. You kind of go through phases where I know you guys have done the utmost, amazing stuff. So I think you guys are far past like when I first started, I was like, okay, I know plenty. Like I can definitely do this, and I did know enough to like do it and like make sure that there was no like failed Kickstarter bullshit. But looking back at that, like 3 years ago, I just look at myself. I'm like, you didn't really know much at all. And then now it's like, oh my God, do I actually like, or am I just really good at him being an imposter? It's like such a weird dynamic.
And I feel the same way. I mean, you're amazed what you learn so quickly, and the things become possible to you. Drag you down because the possibilities, you just want to excel that much more. The possibilities are there, but the effort involved in doing that is magnitudes more.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
How long have you been doing this,
it's a big step.
9 years.
Jesus, I've been doing this like 20 years. Why am I not further along?
Well, you are, but you just have. That's going to tell you. Look, go the hair. The youngest guy has the most hair.
Yeah,
he's been here the least amount of time. Then goes to me. I have some. You have none. That's how it works.
Point.
That's a good point. Dang.
And I think we nailed it. I honestly, most of the time, don't give a shit. That probably has something to do with it.
That may have something small to do with it, yes. No, but I mean, you can just tell. I mean, it's impressive, man. It really is. And like, we usually don't praise people on our show, but we've lately had good people on our show. We just had Satine and Jameson.
Oh, cool.
Their stuff was really fantastic, but your stuff is really for one dude organizing everything. Really, for all the new stuff for 5e, the kind of quality you're making is really impressive.
Well, the interesting thing about this is it's an interesting combination, 5e and BX.
Yeah.
That is not a recipe that immediately springs to mind. So, can you speak to that a little bit? I mean,
I want to hear this too.
So
not that I am
yeah.
upset you're supporting BX. I think that's fantastic. But what made you decide to do that?
So essentially, what happened was when I came in, or when I took a bigger role in Paysetter, other than just like going to conventions and shipping books out, I wanted to integrate 5e because it was, as many of us know, it's the way to sustain your business nowadays,
Right.
and that's just like the truth of it. And I love fifth edition. Like I started playing with my friends our senior year of high school, and we fell in love with it. So being able to take Paysetter works and my own stuff and be able to put it out for that type of audience was really cool. But then the BX part has sort of always been there. My dad started publishing adventures at first mainly for BX, and then switched immediately into first edition. And now we're almost like kind of flipping back to that BX element. Essentially just because we decided to, like that. There wasn't like a grand epiphany one day when we were like sitting thinking up ideas for what we wanted to do next. It just kind of naturally came about, because we've done we have a ton of first edition stuff. We have a ton of, or not a ton, but a good amount of swords and wizardry stuff. And now we have a ton of BX stuff as well. So we have a good catalog for all of the elements of not all, but majority, right, of the old school game systems that are still being played and supported. And I don't know, the BX crowd is just amazing. Like it's such an awesome community. And we've met a couple of like the content creators who still make like BX centric YouTube videos and stuff. And they're just awesome. And they're so ecstatic when they find out that there's BX stuff being made nowadays. It's just such a good game system, and it's easily ported into the other old school systems. So it's the great middle ground as well. But
plus, if you started with BX as your first box set you ever got as a kid, that makes you 25% cooler than everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the people who did start with that, having a modern company support the game that you feel such waves of nostalgia for is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you started with BX back in the day, back in the early 80s, and you've played with any consistency, you've gone through every BX module by now. So having a company that's putting out new content, that's great to just be able to enjoy that.
And we did a Kickstarter a while back. It's going on a good life cycle now. We did a BX RPG, which is a box set, essentially taking the BX rules and putting them into player's guide and dungeon guide. Yeah, and we still to this day we get a ton of messages of people asking about it, and some even like wanting to write modules on it and stuff. And it still sells incredibly well on the website. So we're likely going to do like a 2.0 now that Paysetter has grown into what we are now. We're probably going to do that mid next year is probably when it's going to be, just because COVID is still kind of lagging some shit that we have to get past and muscle through. And that way there's more life cycle on that product. But it'll be out bigger and better than ever. And it'll be an awesome BX retro clone. And it will still be supported with all of the stuff we've been publishing for the last however many years now. So keeping it consistent is important to me too.
Is your BX catalog just BX, or are you going all the way through? Are you doing the whole me?
Yeah, so currently right now it is BX, but we are planning on getting to the ECME part, the CMI part, because that was the main ask when we did. I mean, the BX RPG Kickstarter did well, but it had more public awareness and it sold really well after. Cool. So that was the main request for it afterwards, was to expand then into, Companion and Masters and Immortal. So we're planning on integrating that into the 2.0, or if not, having that 3.0 shortly after. Awesome. I just want to make sure that there is somewhat of a product life cycle on each. So presenting all the content at once is cool, and people like that, but also it kind of stresses some people out, that you don't have enough time to actually like really enjoy each part of it. So we're still deciding whether we're going to release it in phases or how we're going to do that. Because last thing I want to do is like overcharge people for that content. So we're just trying to figure out the best way to do it.
That is a surprisingly mature outlook. You're crushing Zach so far in maturity level.
Damn
and
right.
hair.
Well, I just hate when I get milked, like you can, sometimes you can tell when you're getting milked, and it's like, I don't want to say anyone specifically Blizzard Entertainment.
Come on,
but
man.
Sometimes
EA games.
It just feels like, you're just like, it's like, why this is so unnecessary. We're going to buy it anyway, but you had to make it like this expensive, and like, it's
this is insulting.
It's like, insulting. Yeah.
And you're still going to buy it. That's the best part. That's kind of like they say the old Soviet Union. They would lie to you, and you have to pretend to believe it in order to get your like tiny bit of cheese. It's the same kind of thing. Like, they will tell us how great it is and charge us a bunch of money, and we'll pretend to agree with it. We'll bitch about it, and then we'll go buy it anyway. That's the insulting part. Is they can lie to you about how great it is, and you still pay.
Are you trying to offend our comrade gamer friends?
No, but they're easily offended, so it's okay.
Pretty much at this point, everyone's easily offended.
True. Which
actually segues wonderfully into my next question for Ben.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put the spotlight on you, Ben.
Spotlight.
So you are definitely a different generation than me.
Yeah.
And a different generation than Zach. What are your thoughts on the social aspect of gaming and what has been going on the last few years? And I mean, you don't have to get into it and dissect it too much. Is it reasonable to you? Does it depend on the item?
Guess it's like more specifically. Are we talking? Do you want to stay tabletop or?
Yeah. Let's stay tabletop, because that's kind of where we're at. Just from your perspective as somebody who's not young and jaded and
old and jaded. He's young and jaded.
Piece of shit.
I am young and jaded. I think if I'm asking the wrong person. I remember I grew up in the old school, so I still have that.
Right. Well, yeah, that even helps your perspective. I mean, what are your thoughts on some of the stuff going around today?
I certainly don't think it's as bad as it really is, because social media amplifies everything to a level that isn't true to like reality, right? So a lot of things that people say online, it's not even remotely how they act in person or what they do in person. As far as it is with like gaming and the younger generation, it's still like alive and well within the younger generation. I think it's just less people actively play it and more people just consume it online, right? So like a ton of people watch Critical Role and other shows online and really don't feel the inclination to play a ton, or if they do, are interested to play it. And this was the beautiful part of before COVID, is sometimes I would be at my local game store and someone new would come in, and they would literally say, "Hey, I've seen Critical Role and I want to play Dungeons and Dragons." And then they'd play in Adventurers League or whatever was going on that night.
Them a lot more. People give them a whole lot of bad.
Critical Role gets so bashed on for literally no. It makes no sense to me, and I will never like fully defend anyone or anything with my life. But Matthew Mercer and Critical Role are pretty damn close to that, like being the stalwart defense for them.
Recognize, I think, in general, the
we
reason
can barely hear you, Zach. You got too far away from the mic. Damn it!
No, the reason you can buy D&D socks is because of Critical Role.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, the reason you can see D&D everywhere, it's a brand that is now a lifestyle brand, is because Critical Role.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it really is.
I've met Matt multiple times in person and like talked to him with a human conversation, not just like a passing. And he's just as good of a dude as he is online. So I think people just give him too much shit. But yeah, I think it's like older people like to joke about everything. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, even I sometimes like feel a little like, that's not going to stick around. And then I look 5 minutes later and it's like, oh shit, there's actually a huge community around this. Like people joke about TikTok all the time. There is a massive Dungeons and Dragons community on TikTok, like enormous. It's bigger than YouTube, I think. And I believe partially those are people who didn't really explore Dungeons and Dragons until they downloaded the app, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It must be because there's such a massive audience around it. I mean, there's creators with 1 million followers making Dungeons and Dragons videos every day. And that's the truth, you know, it's still around. It's just, it's in a different life form. And I hopefully it still converts to people playing at the table, but we'll see.
You agree that's a good thing that it grows like that? I think it is.
Yeah, it's good for the longevity of the hobby for sure. It's just going to evolve into a different form, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Zach and I have talked before with other people about, you know, a decade ago when everybody said, oh, PDFs will never last. You know, people want paper books, and this PDF thing, you know, it's not going to catch on. And it's like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I don't even buy physical books anymore. I buy PDFs because I can have a ton of them, and they're portable. I can have them on my Kindle. I can have them on a laptop.
Option 2 is to get a whole other apartment full of books because you can't fit them in your own apartment. That's the option I would. So I'm the B option from Skeeter's A option there.
I think when I was a teenager back in the dark ages, and if somebody would have told me eventually D&D is going to be big enough that you can have your own show there, you can say anything on almost, thanks YouTube, you fuckers, you can have your own show and it'll stream on the internet, which you have no conception of now, I would have totally said that was bullshit.
Well, if you told me 50,000 people would watch a D&D session live, we couldn't find 5 people to play. It was like, you know, things are different now. And I think it's good. I think it's hard to adjust as an older person, which I don't like to even admit, but it's getting harder to adjust because, for instance, the TikTok, I agree with Ben. I wish that we had the time and the people that staff at Frog God to do that, but we don't. And when you don't understand something and you try to do it, it is so obviously phony that it's better not to try, I think.
That's the one thing about the D&D shows that I have seen that I appreciate the most. The people doing them, you know, Matt Mercer and Critical Role, all the charity events that I've seen, Satine and everything that she does, all of these people legitimately love the game or they wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
And I'm sure there's some fringe people that are doing it because it's cool now to be a geek or something like that. And it's like, it's not.
They're on Twitter.
I mean, it is. Yeah. Then there's those shit buckets. But, you know, if you're passionate about something, don't shit on somebody's passion. That's just not cool.
Yeah, and it's really become a pop culture. It's become a part of pop culture. Like, I swear, before Stranger Things and Critical Role really blew up, because I've been doing, you know, pace setter as of course, it's more of a job now than it used to be.
Okay,
but
you guys keep talking.
We're talking.
When I used to explain to people what I would do, they wouldn't really get it. But now I get to say, like, it's a mind flare. Exactly. It's quite literally part of pop culture.
It is a fun
mine are over there. Mine are out of reach. There,
yeah. Well, I just about got crushed by all the other toys coming down.
Yeah.
It's much easier to explain now to even people my age. Like, I remember when I first started and telling people in high school what I was doing with my dad. They were like, "So is it like a video game?" And of course, I still get that all the time.
Yeah.
But now I'll be like I'll be like in the Disney parks with my friends, and I'll meet other people through them because that's how shit happens down here. You just meet everyone naturally. And they're like, "Oh, do you like work for Disney?" And I'm like, "No, I do this other thing." And then I explain what I do, and they're like, "Oh, cool. So like you make the campaigns?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, you know that word?" Like it's much more like much more like acceptable now. And I swear, I can't make this up. When I wear my D&D t-shirts, like I'll wear my like I have like a starter set t-shirt. I have a Baldur's Gate shirt and the cartoon. The most amount of compliments I get in public ever. Yes, that's from 80s Tees, I think. And the most amount of compliments I ever get when wearing any of my T-shirts in my wardrobe is when I wear a Dungeons and Dragons shirt.
Oh, sure.
It's like it just attracts everyone. And I'll just be walking through Disney on my phone, and they'll be like, "Hey, nice shirt." I'm like, another one, like a nerd.
I bought, thank you, Kurt Gould. And whenever I go to anywhere, like, nice face mask, man. I'm like,
yeah,
that's right, D&D, man. And like, I love that D&D. I wear the old ones, like the old, like Lich, like all the old ones, Monster Manual. They have the shirts that you can buy from Watsy. I love old school D&D. I'm like, I am in Safeway. This is badass.
Yeah. Well,
yes,
I mean,
right.
if I ever would have thought growing up that I would be on Goddammit Zach with a bunch of D&D geeks and my mother would watch, that was mind-blowing. It's like when she would show up in the chat, it's like, are you serious? What time continuum am I living in?
No,
it's certainly grown to a place where it's like, it almost feels like braggy when I talk about what I do now. It's kind of like that, and it obviously is, because I'm very lucky where I'm a young person and I essentially am self-employed, like actually self-employed. But it's at a cool place for sure, and I hope that once everyone is, or a certain percentage of the population is vaccinated and game stores kind of pick back up, that there will be like a good rush of people wanting to play, because it's been neglected for so long, being in quarantine.
In Arizona, we already have that. I mean, I can tell you.
I've seen my local store over here, or one of them, because Orlando just has so many. They're starting to post game nights again.
The game nights, and the stores are packed full of people.
That's awesome.
We still wear masks in them, though Arizona doesn't require you to, but they're really good about it. As a community, I think we're better than a lot of other communities about being like actually proactively, because we want our game stores back, man. So we're trying to behave.
It's when you have something to lose, you actually like contribute towards the common goal, right? Like when Disney reopened, they were like, you guys have to listen to us or we will be closed down. And everyone still in the parks, standing 6 feet away, wearing the mask, like not bullshit, like actually wearing the mask. And it's like, this is just what was needed to get over the hump.
That's what you got to do. And I mean, it's a real thing, but
I thought I was going to die yesterday because of my vaccine, but I was like, oh my God, I can see the light,
Yeah.
Even in the awfulness, it was like, I can see the light.
I messaged Ben and I was like, dude, are you going to be good for the show? And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm like, okay.
I was optimistic. I was like, I'll be all right. Yeah. Even if I wasn't going to dip. I don't know. I would have struggled through it. It would have been bad, but
we struggle through it all the time, dude. We don't even have that problem, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I do want to add this though. What's interesting about you, Ben, is that you really have made a job out of this for one guy doing this, because like your numbers show it. And I know we're not going to discuss this, but I know your costs are a pretty good idea, just because I know our costs are. But I mean, I know you're making the kind of money where you can sustain a one dude operation where you should be real proud of that. And that's only possible because of all the things happening around it. But also it's possible because you work really hard. That's one thing I think people don't recognize, is how much work it is to do what you're currently doing as one dude. Now, you may have people you pay and you have freelancers and everything else, but in the end,
I have a lot of people I pay. I can't take credit for.
Well, no, you say that, but you're the one, you're the decider, right? I get to blame it on Finch because I have somebody else to decide with. Like Bill Webb, he did it. No, it actually comes down to you are the top of the chain, so you're what you're doing is legit and it's impressive. And I know I'm proud of you because I watched you do a lot of it. I think
I got lucky. Like, I can't take credit for everything that you're throwing at me. Like, my dad has been in this industry for forever, and he's I don't know how much I can't say, but he's at the close to retirement phase, which is cool, because then it will be like, I think Pacesetter will take another big step up, because it'll be, he's so busy with his job and finishing it out. They had a bunch of things that I can't really talk about.
Yeah.
But like all good things. There's none of these bad things. Like all really amazing things for the future of our family and stuff. But it's just it was weird,
man. We know your dad.
Yeah, we know him.
Well, it was weird, like stepping into like the CEO. I don't say that role so early because a lot of it was just like I was honest with anyone that I was paying. I was like, we're gonna learn together, and I was lucky to have my dad, to have you two. I know I Zach especially. I've asked you so many questions over the last 2 years. But like now it's like I have Keelan Halverson who's doing all of our cartography, and essentially I very soon hopefully going to become like our art director, I guess is like the title you could give him. I have a really awesome artist now from Poland, Dmitry Yakovsky. We have an art student out from in Italy who's contributing. Susie does all of our layout work. And it's like I can't take credit for everything because I have such a good foundation that it feels like almost sometimes it's we're not going to fall because we're all just so invested, you know.
Well, one of the primary,
because a lot of companies have had better foundations have failed miserably. Seriously. So you should take the credit for that.
One of the primary kudos you should get is because you did assemble a team of people that are very good at what they do, and the ability to recognize that, bring them in, and help kind of mold the team. That's a skill set.
Yeah,
I think that I mean, like I said, I just got lucky from being in the inner working of the hobby, like since I was, 14 essentially. So, I mean, I obviously saw what worked and improved on that, but then
I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to say that there are a lot of people out there who had a lot more experience than you, who's done a whole lot worse, that knew a lot about the hobby. So you can keep on acting. Yeah, not him. No, but you can keep on acting all cool stuff. But I'll name names after we're done, but I got a long list of names that done a lot worse than you, dude. So
well, it's like
better positions. And so you need to stop that right now.
I have way too much like I don't know the word. I just have way too much weight on how I think about myself, and how I want other people to think on that. Obviously, I think there's obviously a little bit of like
you're humble, and we don't recognize that, do we, Skeeter?
What
well, I just don't want to make myself look like an ass. Like that really like
you're humble.
I think people aren't like
that. Oh, you need
I think
to get
some people
over
aren't
that.
You know what I mean? Like it would suck to me if like a lot of people really thought poorly about me. Like that would actually like fuck me up real bad. Excuse my French, but I know this is a good show to swear.
If people thought the same way about you that they think about Ken Whitman, that would be a problem.
Yeah. But that's never going to happen. Like I will never let that happen. Yeah.
That would be terrible.
We have
a question from the chat.
Ooh.
Is Endless Encounters similar to the Tome of Adventure Design? So get into Endless Encounters a little bit.
Yeah, so this is our current Kickstarter that's up right now. The title lies. I can't. We got to change it technically, but we've hit 2 stretch goals, so now it's for levels 1 to 10. So essentially, it's a dungeon generator for characters levels 1 through 10. And when I say that, there are 10 sections of the book essentially, and depending on what level the characters are in your party, if you play with a system that they're different levels, just kind of take the aggregate. Say your characters are level 3, you go to section 3 and you roll up a dungeon within minutes, right? It differs from the Tome of Adventure Design in the way that there's also monster encounters as a part of the book. I don't think that's in the Tome of Adventure Design. I haven't read it in a minute, but essentially what it is it's dungeon specific. So there aren't all the other landscapes that are usable. And we also provide a sample dungeon with a map, and the sample dungeon is already fleshed out. So even if you don't want to roll on the random tables and create the dungeon, there's one already made for you. And essentially you can string all 10 levels together and make an awesome mega dungeon for your party as well, if you wanted to play it that way.
It's the creative boost, because you may roll on the table, but you can change your mind what you think is cooler, but you're already in the process of doing the creative process much easier. I think people who don't want to make their own stuff because it looks imposing, this is like a great tool. So I love
this
is my favorite one you've released so far, by the way, Ben. Of all the ones you put on Kickstarter, This is the one I think is that and the solo book are the two concepts I think are the greatest. But this one I think is going to do very well outside of this. You're going to find, I think your market for this outside of the Kickstarter is going to dwarf your BX stuff, and that's going to grow too, right? But this is just a well done concept.
And that's exactly what we've been trying to do. Is I've started to try to. Well, obviously with trial and error, you find what sells after Kickstarters and what doesn't. And, campaign books are so fun to write, and I will never stop writing campaign books, and I know my dad won't. But utility books just they sell better after, and there's a bigger market for them because.
You know where else they sell good?
What?
Distribution.
Yeah, exactly. It's
so,
like,
that's my hint for the day.
there's been a lot of over the last 2 years, trial and error of figuring out what works and what doesn't. And obviously utility books kind of hit the crown. So this is going to be a part of a series. We're going to do Endless Encounters, probably like Wilderness next, or Urban or Arctic. It really is kind of never ending. It's just another expansion of Pacesetter, is kind of growing beyond the simpleness of just doing modules,
No, I think
so let's talk about your artists. Who did
the
art in this one?
Dmitry Yakovsky is currently slated to do literally all of the art in the book because he's a workhorse and loves doing this. We got lucky. He was posting in a Facebook page one day, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, do you do commission work for businesses? And he's like, I haven't really before, but I'm interested. So we worked out some rates that were, a little bit above industry standard, because I think his art is fucking killer. And he's been taking on 90% of our art since. He finished out the art for Path of the Vanished. He is responsible for 90% of the art in Into the Unknown, our solo book. He's going to be 90% of the Lost Triptych, our Kickstarter before this, and he's going to be damn near 100% for this book. So he is absolutely crushing it, and he's so easy to work with, and just a great.
He's the best damn country on the planet. I tell you, anybody who has relatives in Poland is awesome. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Yeah, he's so easy to work with. It's amazing, and
we all are.
Pretty much every time when I send him something, it's
wow.
If it's not exactly what I put on the paper, it's him taking creative liberties to make it more art realistic, because sometimes as a writer, or I don't really know what's going to look good on the art piece. So
that's tough sometimes.
It's really tough. It's a mature way to look at it is to let the artist do that for you, because honestly, a lot of times those would be better, and it's easier to fix the words than it is to fix the art.
And that's exactly why I was kind of mentioning I want Keelan to sort of also transition into art director, because he has just such a good eye for everything, and I know it'll be better than how I'm doing it now. So I think I'm a pretty good art director overall, but obviously I can't do everything at the end. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep expanding and keep growing the team.
Do everything badly. I did that. I know what that's like. It's hard to do everything well. You have to actually rely on people whose judgment's good. I know Wonky. Wonky's got good judgment in art, that's for sure. So I hear where you're coming from. But you have to know at what point you're going to start making decisions that are going to be bad because you don't have time to really think about them, right?
Yeah. So knowing when to hand something off to somebody else is a skill. It's just like anything else, and you have to practice. But all of these lessons you're learning, I would love to invite you to Skeeter and Zach's small publishing seminar.
Wow.
Because I think you would be a fantastic panelist.
Dang.
Just telling
first
people,
panel.
Just telling people what you've learned, I mean, we talk about it and it's like, oh yeah, whatever, boomer. You guys, you've been doing this forever. But having somebody who's young and still has almost as much experience as Zach and puts out better products.
Oh no, that's not true.
Oh my God, we have a guest co-host.
What's up, man?
Hey,
Mr. Matt Finch.
What's up places as North Texas RPG Con? We just talked about how long you've been there, like you're an old person.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, are we on the air?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's hard to tell. We just scream into the void. So, are we gonna have like an arm wrestling match, endless encounters against Tome of Adventure Design? Can we set that up? Can that be a thing in Texas?
That's been a lot of questions I've gotten. They're like, is it close to the Tome of Adventure Design? I'm like, yeah, like I guess if you think, I guess like.
Skeeter. The problem is the books don't have arms.
But don't they?
This is what you get when you work with him, because this is the kind of useful shit you get when you work with Matt Finch. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah,
Pro tip.
I mean that is a pretty good compliment to be compared to. Tome of Adventure Design has been great for years and years and years and years. So if people are even putting you in the same bucket of comparison, that's a pretty damn good compliment.
Yeah, now it's all in execution. Now it's all in execution. I just don't want to say anything until it's actually, being used,
Oh, well, you're raising the bar each time you put out a book. So we got faith in you, Junior.
Yeah.
I think it's important to set expectations low.
He's about to.
And then when they're high,
all of us in terms of money. You shouldn't call him Junior. I'll call him Sir personally.
Yeah. Well, Zach and I are experts at setting the expectations low, as we have done for our show.
Yep.
Well, I was like, when I pressed launch, I was like, if this thing hits 400 backers, I'm going to jump for goddamn joy. And now it's here.
What are you doing now?
It's,
so that was
655.
Joy. You gonna dance for what are you gonna do?
I am gonna reinvest it into. I'm gonna TikTok. Yeah, I'm gonna do some TikTok dances, and that's gonna be that.
Oh, that's gonna be fantastic.
I did make us a Pacesetter Games TikTok that I'm uploading to now too, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh boy. Don't tell about us.
No dancing. No. The first video that went really viral was talking about optional rules in 5th edition. So that's the kind of videos that are going to be made over there.
We demand dancing.
Aren't those videos like 60 seconds?
That one was like 25, 30 seconds.
So
yeah. You just have to be really good at getting to the point. That's about it.
Yeah. All right. I'm out.
Yes. All old people are out.
No, this whole show is me not getting to the point. This show could be a TikTok video if I actually had a point and could follow it.
Can you imagine some of the guys that we know that created the 1st edition rules to do anything in 30 seconds or less? They had advice. Can you picture it?
I would sacrifice some of Ben's hair to see Steve Winter do a TikTok video about game rules.
I would see. That's the thing is like at North Texas, I was like, I really want to make TikToks at North Texas. I think it'd be really funny. But also, I don't want to press record on someone then have them not know like what you're. I'm gonna be like,
oh, who's gonna?
I don't know if you can fit this in.
Get one of those selfie sticks when you do it too, so you look like a real douchebag, but you know what you're doing. That would be fantastic.
I want to purposely make myself look like an asshole and sabotage myself and get a selfie stick. That sounds great.
You recommend it. Look, there he is. You see him?
Dude, you're following the Skeeter Green path to limited success.
Limited.
Oh man,
that sounds safe. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Hey, so real quickly,
that's also the Skeeter Green guide to weightlifting.
That is true. Aren't you glad I brought the extra host on there, Skeeter?
Yes. This is making it plus 50% better.
Exactly that.
What were you say, Zach?
Oh man.
I was going to ask Ben, what else is coming up for me? What are the things you got going on?
In life or with Pacesetter?
Well, what do you want to tell all our audience of 8?
That's a good one. Most importantly, I want to focus on getting our books out in time, so I don't want to get ahead of myself with Kickstarters. We're probably going to have maybe like 2 or 3 months off until our next big Kickstarter, like this one, because we have a big wave of all of them shipping out in June and July. So those are going to be really busy months. And then I think once we get past that and get those books in people's hands, it's safe to kind of move to the next thing. But aside from that, I graduate finally. I haven't even fucking graduated college yet, so I'll graduate pretty much at the end of the year. And
You fucking fetus. Jesus.
I'm so over college, man. I'm so over it. You know what was hilarious? Actually, this is a good time to bring this up. So I go to Full Sail University, which is like a school in Orlando.
Is that
That's
a beer university?
It's essentially just for the entertainment world. I love it actually. So it's
Artisan
like
top-
fancy.
a lot of like film people go there. A lot of people who work for Lucasfilms went there. It's a huge game design school. I'm majoring in entertainment business because I wanted the business aspect, not just game design, so I can learn game design from other people and continue to do it.
Don't pay somebody like Greg Gillespie to teach you game design.
I can ask him with a beer. Yeah, exactly. That's what my thought process was.
Yeah.
So,
Full Sail University is where Dave Arneson taught right before he died.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The game studio is called Blackmore. So
Okay,
it's
that's legit.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and when people ask, like, I went into the school, they're like, "Have you ever heard of Dave Arneson?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have."
You heard of Jesus Christ?
Hey, do they have any stuff that says Blackmore on it?
I don't know, actually. I've never been on campus because of COVID. I've never even been on campus.
Dude,
So,
if they've got something, let me know. I'm interested.
I think I don't think they have like merch for it. But
well, that's a bummer.
But either way, there's like, so essentially we have different classes every month and they just fit the semester long work into like just 1 month, and you have 1 or 2 classes per month and just finish it out fast. And I love it because it's no bullshit, you know, no like stupid weekly assignments. It's like big projects, big picture stuff. Yeah. And they have this like, I think it's their equivalent of like honors college. I didn't join it because I don't feel the need to. And I looked at it because you can just look at the honors college assignment every month on the website portal. And for last month, it was create a mock crowdfunding project. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I'm glad I didn't join this because that would have been a waste of time.
See if you can get credit for the work you're already doing.
Hey, want me to tell you something? This, and I don't think anyone would have ever guessed it. I might be the damn valedictorian. My grades are that good.
Good for you.
I'm not even kidding. I had never thought myself. I don't like school.
You better have that hair piled high if you get up there.
We want you to dye that hair bright colors when you get that big so we can notice.
Hell yes.
The only hint I have is from a professor who said it was likely. And then my friend who graduated like 5 months ago, and she was the salutatorian, and she told me her GPA, and I just cross-referenced it to mine, and I was like, mine is way higher than that. So that's like the only context I have for that.
You look at your better advertisement. See?
True.
Gotta think.
Take a picture of you, stick it on the cover of the magazine for recruiting purposes.
Yeah, I had to do well because there's like this Hall of Fame thing that they have, and I told the lady on the phone when I was like got accepted, I was like, I'm gonna be in your Hall of Fame, and she was like, all right. So now I have to do well. I kind of screwed myself.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm in college through Boeing as well, and it's not at all like yours. Mine is more just sad. You're actually doing well, and mine is more like, oh, people are gonna pat me on the head and say, "You're doing good, champ."
Yeah, we produced a music video 2 months ago. That was pretty cool.
Is it
for a local
Atlanta
artist?
Would recognize?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
that could literally be anything.
Matt recognize it.
30
I bet
years.
Matt would.
No, I of course fell right into the project manager role on that. Not by choice.
Hey, group project.
No one was participating, and then just like the urge to manage kicked in.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's everyone's shit. Here's when you have to have it by.
Here's what you need to
Meet my wife, dude. She has the urge to manage just like you. That's the kind of thing she does all day. Ask Skeeter.
Well, yeah, if you were married to Zach, you would feel the need to manage things as well.
That's absolutely true.
Okay, so North Texas in a month. What are your plans for the convention?
0. I was so busy with all the stuff that like with school and Pacesetter that I missed. I obviously can still submit events, but I missed registration. So I'm
I
registered
don't
for
know
0
if you
things.
can submit events anymore. I think he closed it, didn't he?
I might not even be able to. So I might just be rolling up and
there, though. You might know people who are playing your games if you just ask them,
yeah, for sure.
Hey man, I overbooked on Saturday. Will you sit at my table and take money from people? It won't be much.
Yeah, so I have 0 other than sitting at the Pacesetter booth all day, which is usually my favorite thing about conventions. That's about it.
Well, you took out my whole talking point of what you were going to do
Sorry.
by your lack of scheduling.
It's yeah, I can make things up. I have a game Wednesday night that I'm playing with nobody. It's gonna be me playing through my own solo module.
So what Ben Barsh penned product are you going to have available at the Pacesetter booth at North Texas RPG Con?
So ironically, we talked about BXRPG earlier. This will be the first convention it debuts at because it fully distributed right before the pandemic hit. So that's when like all the physical box sets were shipped out. So that's the main one we'll have, as along with Path of the Vanished, which is our newest campaign book, which is awesome because yep, there it is. That's our first full color, full hardcover. We've done full color and like soft cover, but this one was our first hardcover, like our first big dog book. So that's pretty cool.
And it's very shiny because when Zach holds it up, you can't read any part of it.
That's right. That's the point.
That was the goal.
That could be the player's handbook that Kirk Gould sold me. But no, it's Past the Vanish, I promise.
Wow, that's a good sell. I'd like a unrealistic goal was to have the solo module done for North Texas, but solo modules are such a big undertaking of just making sure that every point connects in a way that's meaningful and not having just a bunch of bullshit in the book. So that's taken a lot of refinement, but
it would have been pretty cool though to put down the event at North Texas, solo game, number of players, 1.
That's slated for Game Hole. Is where that's
Gen Con, dude. You're going Gen Con, right?
We actually submitted a request for a booth. We haven't gotten a yes or no yet, but I don't think we'll get one because it's so overcrowded. But I'll go with my friends regardless.
Yeah. Well, I would do that. I think Matt's right. That should be your life goal, is to have the one event.
Yes, submit like 30 games as one player, and they're all running concurrently.
Then just see what path I take and be the kind of the pub. Just be like, you think you're making the choices? I made them for you.
Yeah. It's a choose your own adventure book, but all of the choices.
No. It's pick a path. I'm not getting sued. It's pick a path. I'm not getting sued.
That's all right.
Choose your own adventure is really uptight with the.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Oh, they have like some serious lawsuits. They sued Netflix, and right when I saw that, I was like, okay, we can't put that anywhere near this book.
You can't even use those 3 words in the same book.
Nope.
Booze your own adventure wasn't work either, would it? Now?
that might work.
That might be a good one. Yeah.
All right, Ben, close us out of the show.
What do you want
to say, my man?
I'm pretty sure since we started, Endless Encounters has gone up in backer count. So thank you guys. If anyone from the show backed the Kickstarter, that's pretty awesome.
Awesome,
I see 32,666, so we need someone else to back, so we get Satan out of here. But
that is a total to end on.
Yep.
Just cut the Kickstarter now.
Yeah. Just close the whole thing out.
So if anyone back from here, thank you guys very much. That is essentially.
You're a legit shot at 45,000, Ben. I hope you make it, man.
You think? I don't know if it's going that high.
Shut up, Ben. You didn't think going this high either, did you?
So,
just off of my calculations. I don't think
everyone out there, if you Google Ben Barsh, go to images, you will find a plethora of fantastic pictures of him, and I did select one
Of course.
that I wanted to show off that I believe really captures Ben, his whole anima, the whole
Good word.
substance that is Mr. Ben Barsh, and this is the one that I wanted to show off because I think this.
Oh,
is
you trolled me.
just-
I thought you were going with something else.
I think this is just adorbs.
That's me with my droid. That's R1.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I had a lot to choose from, and I decided not to be an asshole about it.
I thought you were gonna be.
Wow, you're
No,
special.
this
You're
this
special.
is a great pick of Disney Ben.
Yeah.
So
Well, Ben, thanks, man.
thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Make a bunch of money. Remember the people who were your fans before you got super famous.
Yeah, don't forget about us on the bottom rungs of the ladder
Yeah,
as you're
yeah,
going.
we'll-
to
Like
the
when we're old and
penthouse.
homeless, and like I remember them when they helped me one time.
I think you guys will be untying my shoes as I climb the ladder, so it'll be hard to hard to
Oh,
forget.
yeah, if I can reach you, I'm totally pulling you down.
That's possible too. All right, well, awesome. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you
Yes,
guys.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much to the mysterious Matt Finch who keeps floating in and out of the screen. Thank you for coming by. Zach, good to see you, buddy.
You too, man. Good times. Good show.
Thank you guys.
It's good guests, dude. We need to like up our own games.
That seems like a lot of